Sì, mamma. Sì, certo.
So I have a problem with the theory of evolution. I think the biggest threat that evolution brings is its philosophy.
Mama ruft dich gleich wieder zurück. Daniel, I like watching your videos, and in spite of me disagreeing with you, most of the time I really enjoy examining your points.
There's an incredible amount of evidence behind any major religion. If Sarah Palin runs for the presidency in 2016, she'll win hands down. Atheists are hypocritical and really dumb when they mock faith because faith is needed in science as well.
Since the amazing atheist replied to, I guess it is a bit futile to send you video response. However, I have some questions and critiques to your video that I think have not been talked about in the amazing atheist video, to which I would really like a reply.
People are taking evolution, Darwinism, and science and conflating it not only with morality, but with philosophy. Let's take a look at The Moral Landscape, for instance, by Sam Harris. Even Sam Harris, who's a hero for a lot of new atheists, doesn't have a solid grasp of the definition of science.
Due to my opinion, the one conflating evolution with philosophy is you, Daniel. And not only that, you also conflated science with evolution, as you've shown in your example of Sam.
The real danger isn't that evolution is being taught in schools. The danger, in my opinion, is that Darwinism and evolutionism are being conflated with philosophy.
On one side, you argue that evolution being taught is not a danger. On the other, you say that we should not stick to our knowledge because we have to avoid weird interpretations. It is as if you would say that we can teach gravity at school, but then we should ignore this knowledge because someone will come up with a weird idea to push someone off a cliff.
Darwinism creates two insipid moralities. The first one allows you to be cruel to animals, or perhaps even other human beings, under the doctrine of survival of the fittest.
Survival of the fittest does not necessarily imply survival of the most cruel. In fact, one of the most efficient survival strategies is cooperation among the group, or even in between different species.
On the other end of the spectrum, though, Darwinism elevates the status of animals to that of humans.
I find it odd that your two oppositions against evolution are the exact opposite of each other and thus mutually exclusive. I would argue that considering a human superior to an animal makes it much easier for the human to abuse the animal. Also, there is no such thing as a superior species within evolution. The idea of a pinnacle of creation comes from the Bible, so the Christian dogma is actually much more likely, due to my opinion, to cause animal abuse.
You know, why not give apes human rights? After all, we're all related, right?
Your monkey example doesn't really fit. Because even if we are all connected species, and we would consider giving human rights to animals, there is one little detail you tend to forget. The rights we give to human is not always determined just by the fact that they're humans, but also by their cognitive capacity. A child can't drive a car or vote because of its still developing brain, and thus it has restricted capabilities. A dog has the right to not be tortured, but it cannot vote and drive the car because of the same reason the child can't.
But here's where things get dangerous. The philosophy of Darwinism and evolution leads to eugenics.
Evolution is not a necessary premise for eugenics. People can breed traits into dogs and out of dogs without any knowledge of evolution. We did that way long before Darwin came up with this theory.
On the positive side, we can breed a stronger race. We can breed people for their intended professions. Breed people to create better athletes, stronger minds. On the flip side of that, though, it clearly devalues human life.
As far as I understand you, you don't really have any objections to selective procreation, which makes you as a Christian as susceptible to eugenics as everyone else. What you argue against is eliminating people that are not considered up to the standard.
When we look at Nazi Germany, we see people breeding the human race to make it stronger by exterminating entire races and groups of people.
But the lockup or elimination of people with disabilities is not a result of evolution or of its philosophies. During the Middle Ages, children with disabilities were killed at birth because they were considered demons.
Only under evolutionary philosophy and eugenics was it permissible by Nazi Germany to force thousands and millions of people into death camps and exterminate them.
Nazi Germany is its own case. What they did was horrible. However, the techniques used to brainwash them was to invent evidence that Jews are not real humans, or at least not at the same level as Germans were. But as is stated before, evolution does not differentiate between humans and animals, which would have made the technique used by Hitler, somewhere between hardly efficient and utterly useless. Furthermore, blaming evolution for the elimination of Jews means ignoring countless factors involved in the World War history.
When I talk about the threat of evolutionary philosophy and eugenics, it's not just Nazi Germany, but it actually hits closer to home. We even see it today in Obama's spending budget.
Something you also tend to ignore is that the ideology of a state leader is not equal to the ideologies of its citizens. You don't agree with Obama. I think Berlusconi is a disgusting pedophile. And many Germans for sure did not agree with the ideologies of Hitler. Right now we have a shockingly huge number of atheists within Germany. And yet the German country is by far more humane than many other religious countries. Not having God as the source of our morality does not turn us into monsters, Daniel.
And?
I'm really looking forward to your response, if you wish to leave me one, of course.
And I'll see you soon.
See, Mama?